Hello and welcome to Pyramid Power, or as I like to call it, Ancient Egypt's Got Talent, but with less singing and more rocks. Over the next hour or so, we'll be taking a whirlwind tour of the top 10 most fascinating pyramids across the globe, from the classics in Egypt to some surprising contenders you might not have even known existed. Prepare to be amazed, amused, and possibly slightly confused, much like a time traveller trying to pay for a Starbucks with a bag of grain. We'll uncover the secrets, the scandals, and the sheer logistical nightmares of building these monumental structures. For instance, did you know that the Great Pyramid of Giza was basically the ancient Egyptian equivalent of a massive public works project? Pharaoh Khufu was probably like, yeah, sure, build a giant tomb for me, it'll create jobs. First up, the big cheese, the head honcho, the pyramid that launched 1,000 postcards, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Built around 2560 BC, this behemoth was constructed as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. It held the record for the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years, which frankly is just showing off. The precision and ingenuity involved are mind-boggling. Seriously, the ancient Egyptians were working with copper tools and yet somehow managed to align this thing perfectly with the cardinal directions. You try building a Lego set without instructions and see how well that goes. Of course, no discussion of the Great Pyramid is complete without mentioning the conspiracy theories. Aliens, lost civilizations, messages from the future, you name it, someone's probably written a book about it. And while I'm all for a good conspiracy theory, looking at you, Area 51, the truth is, we have a pretty good idea of how this pyramid was built. It involved a lot of sweat, a lot of manpower, and probably a whole lot of complaining about how much their backs hurt. But here's a fun fact. Despite its massive size and grandeur, the Great Pyramid's internal chambers are surprisingly cramped. You'd think that with all that effort, Khufu would have at least sprung for a walk-in closet or something. Next, we travel back in time to the world's oldest pyramid, the Step Pyramid of Giza, built around 2630 BC. This architectural marvel was designed by the rock star architect of his time, Imhotep. We're talking about a true visionary, the kind of guy who could turn a pile of sand into a masterpiece. The Step Pyramid was essentially a giant game of Tetris, with 6 massive stone mastabas stacked on top of each other. Now you might be thinking, Leo, that doesn't sound very stable, and you know what? You'd be right. The Step Pyramid is a testament to the fact that even geniuses have to learn from their mistakes. Thankfully, it's still standing, although I wouldn't recommend jumping up and down on it. And here's a little historical tidbit for you. The Step Pyramid was actually part of a much larger complex, complete with temples, courtyards, and even a giant stone wall. It was basically like a pharaoh's version of a gated community, but with significantly more mummies. Our next stop takes us to the Bent Pyramid, a monument to the age-old adage, measure twice, cut once. Built around 2580 BC, this pyramid starts off at a jaunty 54-degree angle before abruptly switching to a more modest 43 degrees halfway up. It's like the architect suddenly realized they'd forgotten to carry the one and just decided to go with it. Now, there are a few theories about why the Bent Pyramid looks the way it does. Some say it was due to unstable ground, while others believe it was a deliberate design choice to symbolize the rays of the sun. Personally, I like to think the builders just got tired of hauling those massive stones uphill and decided to take a shortcut. But hey, even with its unconventional shape, the Bent Pyramid is still pretty impressive. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes even mistakes can be beautiful. Plus, it makes for a great conversation starter at parties. Moving right along, we come to the Red Pyramid, named not for its fiery temper, but for the reddish hue of its limestone blocks. Built around 2590 BC, this pyramid is often overlooked, which is a shame because it's actually pretty cool. For one thing, it's the 3rd largest pyramid in Egypt, which is nothing to sneeze at. The Red Pyramid was also the first successful attempt at building a smooth-sided pyramid after the, shall we say, learning experience of the Bent Pyramid. It's like the architect took all the frustration and disappointment from that project and channeled it into creating something truly remarkable. And here's a fun fact, the Red Pyramid is actually hollow inside, with a series of chambers and passageways that you can explore. Just watch out for bats, and maybe ghosts. Now, let's hop on over to the Americas and pay a visit to the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan, Mexico. Built around 200 AD, this pyramid is a testament to the ingenuity and architectural prowess of the ancient Mesoamerican civilizations. It's also really big. The Pyramid of the Sun was built as a sacred site for religious ceremonies and rituals. It's believed that the pyramid's alignment with the sun and stars played a significant role in these ceremonies, because nothing says we take our religion seriously like aligning a giant pile of rocks with celestial bodies. And here's a fun fact. The Pyramid of the Sun was originally covered in brightly coloured stucco and adorned with intricate carvings. So basically it was even more impressive than it is now. Just a stone's throw from the Pyramid of the Sun, we find its slightly smaller but equally impressive sibling, the Pyramid of the Moon. Built around 100 AD, this pyramid is believed to have been dedicated to the goddess of water and fertility. Because who doesn't love a good fertility goddess? The Pyramid of the Moon is known for its stunning views of the surrounding city and the Avenue of the Dead. It's the perfect spot to contemplate the mysteries of the universe, or maybe just grab a churro and enjoy the scenery. And here's a fun fact. The Pyramid of the Moon was built over several phases, with each stage adding to its size and complexity. It's like the ancient Mesoamericans were playing a game of architectural Jenga, but with much higher stakes. Now, for a slightly more modern take on the pyramid, let's head over to the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas, Nevada, and visit the Luxor Hotel Pyramid. Completed in 1993, this 30-story behemoth is a testament to the fact that nothing screams subtlety, quite like a giant black glass pyramid in the middle of the desert. The Luxor Pyramid is home to a hotel, casino and entertainment complex, because of course it is. This is Vegas after all. It's the perfect place to lose your shirt at the blackjack table, catch a show by a washed-up celebrity and maybe even get married by an Elvis impersonator. And here's a fun fact. The Luxor Pyramid is said to be the brightest building on Earth at night, thanks to its powerful beam of light that shoots straight up into the sky. Because if there's one thing the desert needs, it's more light pollution. Next, we're jetting off to Rome, Italy, where we'll find the Pyramid of Cestius, a testament to the fact that even ancient Romans were fascinated by Egyptian architecture. Built around 18 to 12 BC, this pyramid was commissioned by a wealthy Roman magistrate named Gaius Cestius Epilo as his tomb. Because when in Rome, do as the Egyptians do, apparently. The Pyramid of Cestius is significantly smaller than its Egyptian counterparts, but it's still a sight to behold. It's a fascinating example of cultural exchange and the enduring influence of ancient Egypt. Plus, it makes for a great Instagram photo. And here's a fun fact. The Pyramid of Cestius was once incorporated into the Aurelian Walls, which were built to protect Rome from invaders. So not only is it a tomb, but it's also a fortified bunker. Talk about multitasking. Our penultimate stop takes us to Sudan, where we'll find the Nubian pyramids, often overshadowed by their Egyptian cousins, but equally impressive in their own right. Built between 700 BC and 300 AD, these pyramids served as tombs for the kings and queens of Kush. The Nubian pyramids are generally smaller than the Egyptian pyramids, but they make up for it in sheer quantity. There are over 255 of them scattered across Sudan, forming a vast necropolis that rivals the Giza plateau in scale. And here's a fun fact. The Nubian pyramids often feature steeper, more pointed angles than their Egyptian counterparts, giving them a distinct and striking appearance. It's like the ancient Nubians were trying to one-up the Egyptians in the pyramid game. And finally, we arrive at our last destination, El Castillo, also known as the Temple of Kukulkan, in Chichen Itza, Mexico. Built around the 9th century AD, this pyramid is a testament to the architectural genius of the Maya civilization. El Castillo is not just a pretty face, it's also an astronomical calendar. The pyramid has 365 steps, one for each day of the year. And during the spring and autumn equinoxes, the setting sun casts a shadow on the pyramid that creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down the steps. It's like the ancient Maya were saying, yeah, we can build pyramids too, and we can make them do cool optical illusions. And here's a fun fact. Despite its name, El Castillo is not actually a castle. It's a temple dedicated to Kukulkan, the feathered serpent deity. But hey, El Castillo sounds way cooler than the Temple of Kukulkan, right? So, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of some of the most fascinating pyramids on Earth. From the towering heights of Giza to the sun-drenched plains of Teotihuacan, we've explored the history, the mystery, and the sheer logistical insanity of these ancient marvels. We've learned that building a pyramid is no easy feat, even if you're a pharaoh with unlimited resources and a workforce of thousands. Now I want to hear from you. Which pyramid's story amused you the most? Was it the wonky angles of the bent pyramid, the sheer extravagance of the Luxor Hotel pyramid, or maybe the astronomical accuracy of El Castillo? Let me know in the comments below. And who knows, maybe one day, inspired by these ancient marvels, we'll all build pyramids in our own backyards.